going to be working on a zebra scratchboard, and I'm going to be using a fiberglass tool, which is like a clutch pencil, and inside you have a shaft of fiberglass, thousands and thousands of tiny fibers. Now I've got a scratchboard here. I already did a grid and a drawing, and then transferred that drawing with white transfer paper onto the scratchboard. It's an ampersand board, and I'm going to use the fiberglass to remove all of the white. And so I just dive straight in there and start working. Your brush will get dirty to start with, but as you remove this ink and blow the residue away into a very handy bin, which I always have next to me, go over it again, you'll find that you get a nice white finish because you're revealing the clay underneath the ink. So I'm just going to blow that off, go back there, and you'll see how white this can get. Keep your fibre coming out. Many people use gloves to make certain they don't get the fiberglass slithers in their hands, and that's a good point, and I'd recommend them. I've learned how to avoid getting these slivers in, keeping the slivers in front of me, and also constantly removing them from the board and removing them from the paper that I've got the board on a regular basis. So once you've removed all the black from the white stripes, make certain it's all cleaned up nice so that you've got that residue of ink completely removed and you've got nice white stripes. Using an airbrush with some diluted Indian ink, airbrush a light spray over the whole thing. Let's just a bit on the paper. I'm going to go a bit darker in areas where I feel it needs it. And now it's a case of pulling and pushing, basically removing the highlights and then spraying back in, removing more highlights, spraying back in, building up that level of depth. So make certain you follow the direction of the fur, or the way the fur goes when you pull these highlights out. And so now, after pushing and pulling 3 or 4 times, spraying on, wiping off, spraying on, wiping off, I've got various levels of grey, I guess you call them. Some which you don't really notice, but add to the overall effect of making this a round body and 3-dimensional, and making it look like a passable real zebra.